Alright, good morning. Today we're looking at a ship that is a continuing evolution of my Beluga series. I've basically stretched this out lengthwise, or not lengthwise, but widthwise, and I've imagined this as a personnel carrier. I've got the passenger capacity up on the ship to 30 passengers, and I believe it's 11 crew. So it's pretty interesting. I've used some of those empty halves to make this work on the inside, otherwise it would have been like a labyrinth inside. And I'll take you for a tour inside. But as you can see, it's got a big wide mouth where all the weapons are mounted. This is the first time I've used a bridge up on top of the structure like this, and I'm using the 6 of the SAL 6830 engines. But other than that, I was trying to make it as streamlined as possible, as usual. So there's no nothing hanging off the sides. The top, it's just got the tail and the cockpit. Originally, I was going to try to put the cockpit right here with using one of the Stroud cockpits, and that works, but I don't know, I just kind of like the way this bridge up on top looks. And I'm using the Stroud side loading bay, so I'm happy with the way this came out. This is easily the largest ship by far that I've ever made. So all the guns are mounted on these 6 Nova weapons mounts here inside the nose. I'm using a bunch of these Stroud landing gears, and I actually ran out of space, so I had to use 2 of the Nova Galactic landing gears, the NG-20s. I got 2 of them in the back to get my landing thrust up high enough so I can have the 6,000 cargo that I have stuffed in here. I'm using 4 of these fuel tanks. I didn't really need 4 of them, but I just went for aesthetics at this point. I was trying to make it look pretty. And then I have the 2 tails. So let me take you for a tour on the inside. It's got a nice little wheelchair accessible ramp right here. Alright, so coming in, it's just a single ladder all the way to the top. And then, I don't know why I put this over here. I guess just to make it aesthetically the same on when you look at it from the bottom. The tunnel doesn't go anywhere. There's no door or anything back here. But deck 1 is the mess hall. And the cargo deck. So deck 3, or excuse me, deck 2. And I used to use these Stroud 1x1 halves all the way up to the top to get the single ladder. Don't fall. So we go down another tunnel here. This is the empty all-in-one hab that I put in here. And I've noticed that when you use these empty habs, it puts doors everywhere that there can be a door. So that's interesting. Whereas before, you just have one door and you just never knew where it was going to be. So now I guess they're just saying, all right, you get all the doors. So these are the living quarters. And I have 4 on this deck and 4 on deck 3 for I think 8 total. And these are the bunks here. And I found a little glitch here. I don't know why there was a bathroom here before, and for some reason the door is staying here. I don't know why, but I don't know how to make it go away. But this is the number 2 living quarters. 3 and the 4th. And then if we go up to deck 3, it's the same thing. We just go down this tunnel. Another all-in-one hab. I don't know how to put, I gotta play with this later. I don't know how to put stuff in here yet. I haven't figured out how to add equipment and stuff. I got the same glitch here with the door, the bathroom door. Actually, you don't have to close the door. I can just walk around it. But I don't know why it's doing that. But it's the same on this deck. This is just a clone of deck 2. So deck 3 is this is living quarters 3. Or excuse me, that was 5. This is 6. This is 7. And 8. So, like I said, this ship is, in my mind, and you can configure however you want, but in my mind, this ship is configured as a troop transport. So you can hold 30 passengers total. And deck 4 is 2 more all-in-one habs. And I got the stupid glitch door again. Gotta have enough beds for everybody. And like I said, I haven't figured out how to add stuff in here yet, and I'll play with that later. And I got 2 engineering bays. I might replace these with some living quarters, the long 3x1 ones. So, and then if you go all the way down, whoops, this way, if you go all the way down to the end, because the cockpit is mounted on the aft end of the ship, you got to run to the back to get up here. Oh, that's the capsule locker. That gave me a scare there. Oh, there it is. I was gonna say all my stuff's missing. So, anyways, this is that Kon-Tiki bridge.
Ah, hello.
I hope Cora doesn't get
I
too
didn't
much
see there.
underfoot.
This is that Kon-Tiki bridge, and like when you put these on, you got to access it from the bottom. So, and I could move it up. I could put the bridge all the way up here. Like I could literally stick it so the ladder would just come up right into the thing. But I just like the way the bridge looked from the rear. I was trying to figure out a way to get the landing bay like right here, and there's actually a nice landing bay that would look. It's the one from I think it's from Deimos, and it fits in pretty nicely and everything. But it's a top loader, so the ladder would come up right here, and there's no bay, there's no hab for it to connect to. I guess I could have removed one of these. I guess that would have worked, but I don't want to mess with that. I'm just going to leave it as is. I could have removed one of these weapons mounts and stuck a hab there for the access, but I'm not going to mess with that right now.
Hey, what can I do? Sure, how about it?
Alright, so this is the Beluga Mark III, I guess we're up to now. I don't even know. But like I said, I was trying to make it look pretty streamlined. I didn't want to have a lot of gaudy stuff hanging off of it. All the weapons are mounted here on the front. I actually have some extra spaces here in the middle. I could have put more weapons but I'm maxed out, so I couldn't put anything else in here. Like I said, I used that Stroud landing bay, and I was going to originally put a landing gear here, but it was offset, so there'd be a landing gear here, but then you'd have the landing bay over here, and there's no gear sticking out of that, and I didn't like the way it was asymmetric. I just didn't like the way that looked. So it wasn't enough landing gears anyways, so I was going to have to get stupid and like put another landing gear here, and then it would just look weird. So I did some reconfiguring with fuel tanks and everything, and put these 2 NG20 landing gears on the back, and then just put the Stroud cowling here. And then because when you're in space flight, this closes and it looks exactly like this side over here. And that's the same reason why I put this I don't even know what they call these tunnels over here. And even though it doesn't connect to anything, I just wanted it to, from the bottom, I wanted it to look the same on both sides. So in the back, I got 4 of these fuel tanks. Like I said, I didn't really need that much fuel, but these are 200 each, 210 I believe. So it's like 840 fuel, which is way more than I needed, but I don't know. Maybe I'll play with something later. I could delete 2 of these and stick something above this. I'll play with that later. Actually, no, I need 3 because I need at least 300 and I need 400 fuel. So yeah, that would be enough. Just 2 of them. I don't know. Like I said, I'll play with that later. Anyways, I'll take this thing apart. Actually, let me go into the stats. It's got the most powerful shield. It's buried inside somewhere in here. I don't even remember where I put it. It's inside the ship somewhere in the back. 6,000 cargo, 11 crew members. And I don't know why it keeps offsetting like that. Why can't it be 10 or 8? For some reason, it keeps wanting to go up to 11. And I don't know why. You know what? It's probably these engineering bays. I wonder if I deleted one of them. No, that doesn't do anything. I don't know. We got 11 crew members, so I guess there's a odd man out there. 30 light year jump range, 100 mobility. It's a Class C ship, so it's 130 top speed. 4,275 mass is the maximum. Before, if you go to add 1 ton more, the mobility drops to 99. So we don't want that. I want to keep the mobility at 100. The weapons, I'm using 4 of these PVO 300 auto alpha beams. 4 of these Disruptor 3340 Alpha auto alpha beams, and 4 of these PBO 175 auto helium beams. So these 2 weapon groups are Class C, and I went with a Class B, or excuse me, yeah, Class B weapon for the 3rd weapons group. I think, yeah, I could put a 4th, or excuse me, a 3rd Class C group here and delete here. I don't know, maybe I'll do that later. And then, you know, and to get rid of the room, I could just delete some of these 2 of these fuel tanks and just put some structural pieces back here to close up the gaps. And then I could add a 3rd Class C weapons group there. So that's something I can play around with later. But anyways, let me take this behemoth apart and we'll go from there. Alright, back. I got this thing disassembled by layers, or by decks. Starting with deck 1, we're going to build our base using a Stroud cargo hole 2x1, or excuse me, 2x3. And directly in front of that, we're going to use a Stroud mess hall 2x3. We'll just snap them together. And then a Stroud companionway 1x1 will go in the middle. On either side of the companionway, we're going to use 2 of these Hope Tech Hab cross bracers. Just like that. And along the sides here, we're going to be using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the Acculander 11 landing gears. So you're going to have them so the slopes are facing outwards, not inwards. So we'll just attach them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total. And then it's the Stability Pro landing bay from Stroud that will go to connect to that cross bracer. And then on this side, I just use a Stroud cowling 1LA and connect it there because it has the same aesthetic as the landing gear, so it fits in perfectly. And then to build the front end of the nose, we're going to use 2 of these Stroud Cap A's on either side, just like that. And then 3 of the Stroud Nose Cap B's in between. And then, where's that? It's over here. We're going to use a 100 DP slim docker, and it's going to go on that Stroud companionway 1x1 on the bottom. Deck 2, we're going to start adding our living quarters. There's 4 of them on deck 2. And they're going to go on just like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. the Assurance SG 1800 shield generator. This is the most powerful shield generator in the game. We'll just go right there. In front of that, we're going to put a Stroud all-in-one empty berth, just like that, 2x1. And the reason I did that is because if you look, I wanted to have access to all 4 of these habs, right? But if I had the old, just a regular Stroud all-in-one hab, it would just have one door. So it would just be like, you'd come in here, then have to go in like here, and then over this way, down to here, and then to get up to there, and then to get back over here, you'd have to go all the way back around. It would do something stupid. But so what I found with these empty habs is it just puts a door everywhere. So that way when I come through the bay, then I can just, oh yeah, it's because there's another, I forgot there's a tunnel there. So you come through the thing here, and then you go up the ladder, and then you can just go straight down this tunnel, and then this hab will have access doors to all 4 of the living quarters. So in front of this 2x1 empty berth, I put the Hope Tech spine, or excuse me, hab spine, and it goes right there. And the Stroud companionway will go on top of the other Stroud companionway from deck 1. So deck 2, it's going to be 4 of them stacked on top of each other when we're done. Then we're going to use a Galleon S204 cargo hold. And that's going to go right there. The second one will go right there. And then we'll hook up. And I know I'm doing something wrong here. That goes like that. And that goes like that. Oh, no, I know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so that, sorry. These Galleon S204 cargo holds go on the edges, just like that. So we want to leave a little gap here, because if you look on deck 3, the fuser reactor and the grav drive hang down, and they're going to slot in here and here, right above these cross bracers. Let's see. And then we'll hook up our first row of guns, and that's going to be, I used 6 of these Nova weapons mounts. I didn't actually need that many to hook up all the guns, but you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and hook up this, because this is throwing me off a little bit. So we're going to hook up a Fuser DC 403 reactor. It's going to go like that. And an Apollo grav drive, or excuse me, GV200 grav drive will go right there. That way I have some mounting points here for my Nova weapons mount. So like I said, I have 6. Deck 2, I'll have 3 of them attached. It's going to be just like that, and like that. You can't put 2 of these PVO 300 auto alpha beams, like you can't put them in here together, they're too big. You could put 2 of these Disruptor 3340 alpha beams together. I guess because they're sloped edges, they fit in there just barely. But we're going to leave this little center here open. And so we'll go to deck 3. And we're going to start off, we're going to have 4 more of these Stroud living quarters, 2x2s. So we're going to have 8 total when we're done. And then this will go like that. You know what I just realized is I actually have an empty spot back here somewhere that I can use for something if I want to add something later. And then another cross bracer. It's the this is the cross. This is the Hope Tech Hab spine. These things are heavy, by the way. 14 mass just for the tunnel. And then our next Stroud companionway one by one will go right there. And then we can add a third Galleon S204 cargo hold right there. And I didn't quite have enough to keep my mobility at 100. I had to downgrade the last one to a Galleon S203 cargo hold. And you got to have it with the attach point facing outwards so we can hook up our side caps. Alright, then we're going to hook up our next Stroud nose cap C. And it's going to be 4 total. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these can face either direction. And so you want it facing inwards towards each other. Now we have 3 spots here above the weapons mounts. We're going to add our last 3 Nova weapons. What are these called again? Nova weapons mounts. Try to make it symmetric on all sides, and that's how I did it. That completes deck 3. Yeah. Alright, we'll go to deck 4. I got a million of these Stroud Cowling 1 LAs. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 10 total. So we're just going to hook those up on the sides. 5 on each side. And then on to cap it off at the top above these nose C caps, I'm going to use a Stroud cap A. And you see how that just blends in perfectly with these caps. And these slope down and they make a perfect or a nice sloped edge here for the sides. We'll do the same thing for the other side. Two, 3, 4, and 5. And then we'll add our second Stroud cap A, just like that, to cap off the edges. Now we can add our internal stuff. We're going to use 2 of these Stroud engineering bays, 3x1s. And then we're going to have a Stroud all-in-one empty berth, 2x1. A second Stroud 2x1 empty berth, right there. And then we're going to use our last, or our fourth, Stroud companionway 1x1, right on top of the deck 3 Stroud companionway 1x1. And then 2 control stations on the sides of these engineering bays. And then to cap off the top of the weapons mounts, we're going to use 3 of these Stroud nose cap B. And if you didn't know, these can be flipped upside down, and that's what these down here at the bottom are. So I have 6 total of these Stroud nose cap Bs, 3 facing or going up, and 3 going down. And I think that's a nice way to internalize all the weapons so they're not like hanging off the top or and the sides. For the bridge, I'm using a Kontiki B500, and it's going to go all the way to the rear in the center, just like that. For our engines, we're going to use the SAL 6830 Slate Aerospace engines, and you know, as I've used these engines about 15 different builds now. You can only get these engines after you do the Stroud quest line or mission called All That Money Can Buy. And when you do that, you got to do it without killing anybody while you're inside the building. When you get outside the building, there's some guards out there up on top of the building. You can kill them fine, but when you go back into the building, just make sure you don't kill anybody. We're using 6 of them because they're only 2 power each. We're going to hook them up just like this. And I needed some more landing gears, and I don't have any more. I didn't have any more space on the sides to do it the way I wanted to do it, so I used 2 of these NG20 landing gears. And, oh, I forgot. You know what, that's why I use these fuel tanks, by the way, because I needed something that I could hook the gears up from the bottom. So I can put that there, and then I can snap the gears up under a... Originally, I had some of those side-mounted gears from Hope Tech, the big ones, on here on deck 2, and I had 2 on each side. And I thought that looked pretty interesting, but I eventually decided that this was just going to work. I needed to put something down here anyways, so I went with these Nova Galactic NG20 gears. And like I said before, I'm using 4 of these fuel tanks, even though I only needed 2. But whatever. I just wanted it to be pretty. And then on here, there's a little gap on either side of the center engine. I'm just using 2 of these Deimos tail A's, and they snap in and stick up the top. And then to cap them off, the slope them, or taper them off, I'm going to use this Deimos spine A4 on both tails. And then I got a whole bunch of these Taio side caps, and I'm just closing off. You know, when I was first building this, I was thinking, oh, I could make this like a cruise ship, and I was going to put windows, ports along the sides. And you could do that, but you can't put a porthole here because, I mean, I guess you could still stick one on there. You just wouldn't be able to see out of it. Damn it. So I decided in the end to just go with these because in my mind, this is like an armored personnel troop carrier. You know what? I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm just going to delete. I'm just going to take. What the frickin' hell? So this is a little trick I learned when you're doing a whole bunch of these at the same time. You just put one on, and then snap, snap, snap. That's that. Of course, we have one error for some stupid reason. Something's not attached. Looks like a couple. Whoops. We'll hook all this crap back up. This is something that I doubt they're ever going to fix. And there we go. So we're nominal now. So this is the ship. This is the first ship I've ever run into where when I was doing it earlier, I actually hit the module limit. So I guess there's a limit to how many pieces you can actually stick on the ship. I can't add those anyways. I'm just wondering how many of these things I can actually get on here before it tells me. Yeah, see? This action would exceed the module limit. Delete modules before adding more. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more pieces total that I could have added before I hit the limit. This is it. Originally, I was trying to make this 1 deck higher, and I hit that module limit. So I gave up trying to figure out a way to do that, and just went with this design. And I'm actually glad that I did because I just like the way it looks better. It's these engines, when you use these SAL 6830 engines in this configuration where they're one on top of the other, they're 4 decks high, so it makes it a nice fit for a 4-deck ship. And that's that. Like I said, I could have saved 14 tons here and got rid of this cross tunnel or cross brace, but whatever. And I could save some weight by deleting some of these fuel tanks, or I'd have to delete these because I need these to hook up to the gears. Alright, that's that. Let's get out of here. Let's get this thing into space. Ever since the patch, my little loading or change screens, or whatever you call them, transition screens, just seem to be delayed a little bit. So we're just gonna go boost all the way to deck 4. We gotta go to the back of the ship to get on the bridge. Make sure that I have, since this is a large ship, I used to know how to do this. We'll go to the crew. I think, yeah, I still have all 4 of my main guys on there. When I make the small ship builds, I don't like to have a lot of crew members on there because they just talk constantly. But on the big ships, they spread out enough to where it's not that big of a deal.
Pressure holding. Takeoff looks good.
This is by far the largest ship I've ever made. I've never made one this like the width. I usually make them pretty narrow, but I don't know, it came out pretty good. So, because I fly in a first person, you know, a lot of people when I see them fly, they fly like this, but I use first person, and you could see the front of the ship here because it's, you know, the bridge is sitting up on top of the ship like that. So we'll see. I actually haven't taken this into combat yet, so we'll see what happens when I get out there. I got 10,395 cargo. That's with the payload skill, because that doesn't show up in the shipbuilder, which is 6,000 base, but it's 10,395 with the payloads and with Samco on board. And like 840 fuel. That's way more than I needed. And the most powerful shields. And I don't have any. I don't have Omari or anybody else that can adjust the shields because that shield bug is still a problem. Yet another thing that I don't think they're ever going to fix. We'll fly over to the Serpentis system and see if we can play around with the maroon guys, the zealots. So I wasn't sure how it worked before. The zealots, I was like, there's a treaty, a peace treaty between the House Varun and the UC, United Colonies. But I was like, well, why are these guys always attacking us? You know, it just doesn't make sense. It's because these zealots aren't actually, they're like a breakaway group from the Varun, House Varun. They're not officially part of their military. They're just not like, they're basically like the pirates of the House Varun.
You shall be judged.
So, the maneuver, or the acceleration is non-existent on this thing. Oh, and I'm playing on that new extreme level, so get some shit shot out of me here.
Time for your judgment.
And they blew me away. Imagine that. It happens. Like I said, this isn't really an ideal ship for space combat.
You shall be judged. Damage sustained.
I hope they didn't need that grab drive.
Yeah, man, I might have to lower the difficulty. I can't blow these guys up. Ah, rock.
Critical damage to the grab drive.
Yeah. Let me give it one more try.
demands blood.
They lost their shield. Tragic. Just tragic.
Enemies minus one ground drive.
Wow.
It is time for your judgment.
Nailed their ground drive.
Well, I guess I did ask them to increase the difficulty of ship combat, so I got what I wanted. It'll repair pretty quick. If you didn't know, when you go, like, I have 97 hull there, or my, not, sorry, that was a shield. If your hull is damaged, you can take your ship to the, like, a spaceport and get your hull repaired, but the individual items over here on the left that are red, the shipbuilders can't repair that. You just have to wait for these to repair on their own. So, give it a second. Let's see where we go to next. There's a hostile activity over here. We'll try that. Let me check. So yeah, I'm using extreme on all my settings. Oh wow, you actually reduced cargo capacity? I gotta go through all this stuff. I haven't really played around since the patch launched with all this stuff, so I don't know how it all works.
You took out that jump drive.
These guys are a lot weaker. I don't know what was up with those first two ships, man. They're just strong.
Enemy shields are target's grav drive is offline. Nice work.
They lost shield. Hit them now.
I hope they didn't need that grav drive.
Try one more. Let's try this moon. Looks like a big whale shark. They need to tone down the asteroids around every planet. They're just everywhere.
Target's jump drive is down.
Anyways, as you see, I got destroyed a couple times there in the beginning, but I'll get out here. We'll take some glamour shots. But it happens. You see, this thing does not accelerate fast at all because it's so heavy. I'll go into photo mode. This is her, the Beluga. Sometimes I think I should do these ship builds like on Twitch, and so people can see it real time. It's funny because when I build these ships, a lot of times, and this one included, this ship didn't look anything like this when I first started. It was completely different looking. Like I had gears on the sides, and like these were not filled in like this. It was a very different looking ship, and I didn't have this cockpit up on top. I had it up here where this middle Stroud cap right here was, and I don't know. But anyways, I like the way this came out. It's been a couple days I've been working on this, and I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.